Welcome to On the Kitchen Table. This one's called Unboxing Some Nice Things, and I'm starting off with a package from a company called Southern Swords. It seemed very apt to use a sword to unpack a package from a sword company. This is a gladius type sword, and it really is the sharpest sword I've got. During this unboxing process, I'm being very careful not to sever my hand from my arm, because I need that to operate the camera. I found this inside. It's a Southern Swords card. I bought this particular gladius sword a few weeks back, but the scabbard was a bit of a mess. And this is a replacement. The good news is this one's fine. I have a modest collection of swords and Viking battle axes. But don't worry, with my small collection of Roman swords, I don't intend to conquer half the world. And I'm not going to do much looting and pillaging and the other thing that the Vikings used to do. That's enough sword play, it's time to look at other things. This is a part for my Castle Steam V6 boiler. It's a heat shield to help prevent the ashpan from burning the baseboard because it gets very hot. Time for a drink of my tea, and you can now see lots of blue bags have appeared on the table. That's because I went to RDG Tools and bought some tools. For a while I've been intending to buy one of these. It's a thin ruler for marking out small components. On one side it has inches, and on the other side, as you can see, it has millimetres. In recent videos I've been machining some phosphor bronze and showing you the problems and how hot phosphor bronze gets. So I've bought these parts to set up just a drip feed coolant service. It will be a total loss system with a tank, and hopefully most of the coolant will not get splashed all over me. Then I bought this thing. It's a special spanner for something I will be showing in detail shortly. But first of all, I'll show you this. You may be thinking, why have I bought a second Proxxon Micromot motor tool power supply when I have the larger one? My daughter Charlotte uses one of my Proxxon motor tool drills in the drill stand, and she uses this for drilling holes in mounting cards for the jewellery that she makes and sells. With the help of the small jig that I made for her, she can drill about 50 at one go. But I needed the variable speed power supply back in the workshop. So apart from buying a power supply, I bought a bench drill. This is a Proxxon bench drill, very small, very sensitive, and really well made like all Proxxon products. And here it is. It's a really neat gadget. What I don't understand though is it's not variable speed. On the small milling machine I have, which is a Proxxon MF70, it has a speed controller built in. Here's a comparison between the standalone drilling machine and the standard drill press fitted with a Micromot motor tool, which also has a speed controller built in. The first thing I wanted to do was fit a standard drill chuck to replace the Collets chuck on the drilling machine. So when I was at RDG Tools, I bought a spare drill chuck, exactly like the drill chucks that are fitted to all of my motor tools. The standard collets that they supply are fine, but they're not multi-size collets really, so you can only use the drill sizes that fit in these collets. Maybe they make special drills with different size shanks, I don't know. Anyway, I removed the 1/8 drill from the motor tool that's in the other drill stand. But then I found that the chuck that I'd bought didn't fit the thread on the drilling machine. No great loss there because these chucks are not very expensive anyway, and it's good for the spare. So I fitted the 1/8 drill in a 1/8 collet, and here I'm tightening it up. You have to use a Tommy bar in the main shaft so you can tighten up the collet chuck. When I switch on the drilling machine, it's very smooth and quiet in operation. And as I pull the handle, the quill moves up and down very smoothly. The main drill assembly is locked to the column using 2 clamp bolts, as you see here. I wondered what the black thing was on the top, so I unscrewed it and lifted the cover off to find, aha, a variable speed drive. Changing the position of the belt, it will give you the 3 speeds that are marked on the side of the unit. I think possibly this drilling machine is an older design from Proxxon. Both the MF70 drilling machine and all the Proxxon motor tools have a built-in variable speed control, which seems to work perfectly well. I went into Charlotte's office and had a look on the table, and there was the original drilling machine that you see here, complete with the attached Micromot motor tool and a wire going to a large power supply, which in turn had to be plugged into the mains. And also Charlotte only ever uses a 1/8 drill for drilling the cards for mounting the jewellery. So the solution is obvious. Give the drill on the right to my daughter Charlotte, and I will have the other one back in the workshop. And I will use a second power supply I bought just to power this drill press. as it's not on the bench like the other motor tools that I have. Time to look at some steam parts. These weren't bought from RDG Tools. I bought these from microcosmengines.com, and I bought them via Microcosm's eBay shop. They are a pair of reversing valves which also double as regulators for my Blackgates twin steam engine project. But what about the fancy spanner that I bought from RDG Tools and showed earlier? And what are these? Well, the first one is a collet chuck, and it has an R8 adapter which will fit in my milling machine, and this will allow me to hold milling cutters securely in a collet. Because to be perfectly honest, I get so fed up of armchair engineers constantly commenting and saying, "You're holding milling cutters in a drill chuck, that's no good, it will vibrate and work loose." Well, over the years I've been using this, it hasn't done so, but I thought I would appease the experts and buy these. These are multi-size collets, and as a special treat, here is a speeded up unwrapping video, just for all the experts out there. In the case of the milling machine, these collets are designed to accept different size milling cutters with a 1mm variation between the sizes. And just in case you don't get that, a 10mm collet is designed to hold a 10mm piece of bar or an 11mm bar, and so on with all the rest, 1mm either way. And the collets are locked into place in the chuck using the spanner that I showed earlier. All these collets are ER40 collets, and they're designed to fit in a collet chuck just like this one, which unsurprisingly is called an ER40 collet chuck. I already have a Clarkson milling chuck, but I never seem to have the right size collets for it. I already have a set of multi-size collets that fit in my Pratt Bernard chuck that I use on my Smart & Brown lathe. Hold it, the unwrapping frenzy is not over yet. These are larger size ER40 collets. I bought the full set. These really are not very expensive. I was surprised at the cost of them. I remember buying my Pratt Bernard multi-size collet chuck, and that cost me £500 over 35 years ago. While I was at RDG Tools, I thought I would buy some milling cutters, so I bought this set. And again, they were not very expensive. Really, I wish they had been more expensive and better quality, but maybe they'll be okay, time will tell. In this clip, I'm illustrating how the sizing works on the multi-size collets. When I originally turned up at RDG Tools, I was going to buy a set of R8 collets, which is a regular-sized R8 collet designed to take a milling cutter of a given size. But this worked out to be quite expensive. If you look at this box of milling cutters, what's in here are the Imperial ones only. So there are 10 milling cutters, that's 10 R8 collets just for the Imperial, and I'd need another 10 R8 collets for the metric sizes. Here's my normal milling machine setup, and the milling machine's not much to write home about, it's pretty horrible really. It always works well though, and I've made a lot of things on this milling machine. And for most jobs I use this very old, made in England, very stiff chuck. For more heavy duty jobs I would use my Clarkson chuck, which has an R8 taper. In the next episode I'll be showing how I use the new ER40 collet chuck system on the milling machine. That's it for now, thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful.